Joining us, Penny Mordaunt was voted off the Westminster equivalent of Love Island, the Conservative leadership contest, about an hour and a half ago. What then Labour's reaction to this twist in this ongoing story? The Labour MP and Shadow Secretary of State for Scotland is Ian Murray, who joins us now. Ian Murray, appreciate your time. Penny Mordaunt's out. It's going to be Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak. Who would you rather face?
Well, if I can take your analogy of Love Island one step further, we've seen this episode before, haven't we? These are two continuity candidates that are offering nothing different to the country. These are the candidates that were lieutenants to Boris Johnson. They backed Boris Johnson every single thing that they've done. And the country's cost of living crisis and everything that's currently wrong with the country are as a result of these two people as well as Boris Johnson. So we have two continuity candidates that offer nothing. So we're frightened of no one.
Slightly worried when people pick up a metaphor of Love Island. You've no idea where they're going to run with it and where it necessarily ends. You kept it clean, thank goodness. We were just replaying a few minutes ago those 2 minutes of Boris Johnson today. Light-hearted stuff, quite fun, quite knockabout. Big sort of punctuation mark in the life of the country in terms of prime ministers. Last we'll see of him in the chamber. Obviously, his members were pretty chuffed, applause. Your members pretty much sitting on their hands. I mean, you're caught in a cleft stick, aren't you? Had you applauded him, you'd have been accused of hypocrisy. But nonetheless, it looks odd to the public when a warm-hearted occasion like that sees one side of the House, they're in raptures, and the other side of the House, it's all long faces and gloom.
Well, it's really quite interesting, isn't it? Because the person on the Conservative benches today that didn't applaud was the former Prime Minister, Theresa May. And I think the country will be very glad to see the back of Boris Johnson as Prime Minister and all that he's brought to Parliament. Keir Starmer gave a tribute to Boris Johnson at the start of his contributions. But don't forget all those people that were standing and clapping and cheering and whooping and waving their order papers are the very people who've taken this Prime Minister out. They don't want him to be there. They're probably clapping and cheering that he's actually decided to leave. He should be leaving today. The removal people should be outside number 10 Downing Street, removing him from Downing Street. But he's hanging around until September, and I'm not quite sure that's very good for the country or very good for the public. So the hypocrisy actually comes from those Conservative members today who've been cheering with joy and adulation at this Prime Minister. But in actual fact, they're the very ones who've had the vote of no confidence in him, put their resignation letters in and stabbed this Prime Minister in the back.
Different topic.